My name is Mark Oppenheimer. I'm an advocate at the Johannesburg Bar. But I'm talking to you today not as a lawyer, but as a concerned citizen. South Africa finds itself on the precipice of catastrophe. The economy is flatlining, Eskom can't keep the lights on, and in the middle of this, government wants to change the Bill of Rights for the first time in our history to allow it to take your home and pay you nothing. For the last year and a half, there has been a public debate about expropriation without compensation. We now have an amendment bill before us, and it gives the government enormous powers to confiscate land, including homes, while paying nil in compensation. This is not restricted to farmland or to rural land. This includes all land. This will affect all South Africans, young and old, black and white. Now, why is this being done? It's being done on the premise that we need to correct the wrongs of the past. Undoubtedly, we do need to correct the wrongs of the past. South Africa has a dark history of land dispossession under the colonial regime and under the apartheid powers. We need to ask ourselves, what has been done to correct these wrongs of the past? Between 1995 and 2014, the land claims process unfolded, and 1.8 million individuals received compensation, either in the form of land or in the form of money. 95% of the cases that were brought before this process have been resolved. We can celebrate the fact that we have managed to right so many of these past wrongs. We must also acknowledge that 90% of those people chose money instead of land. They did this because there is no hunger for land in South Africa. When South Africans are polled, most of them say that the burning issue in the country is unemployment. 40% of people say unemployment. Only 2% say land reform. We know that the effect of money is that you can start your own business, that you can pay off your debts, that if you want to, you can buy a piece of land in an area that you want. So, what are the effects of changing our constitution? Well, we know that expropriation without compensation has been tried in other countries. It was tried in Zimbabwe. It was tried in Venezuela. In Zimbabwe, it wasn't only the farmers who had their land taken from them that were affected negatively. It was all the people that worked on that land, and all the people who worked in Zimbabwe overall. They now have 90% unemployment. Zimbabweans had to deal with notes that were $100 trillion notes that were worthless. That it was cheaper to buy notes than to buy toilet paper. Their economy was literally relegated to the dustbin of history. It is the world's worst case of hyperinflation. And this happened because property rights were annihilated. We know that in Venezuela, people have to use bucket loads of cash so that they can buy basic goods like tomatoes. 2.5 million people have been driven into exile into neighboring countries so that they can flee the despotic regime that has confiscated property rights and affected everyone's livelihood. So what can you do about it? How can you help save South Africa and help save our constitution? Well, the time hasn't run out yet. Parliament will be accepting public submissions up until the end of January, and you can write a letter and you can make your submission and your voice heard by writing to section25@parliament.gov.za. Let your legislators know that you want to protect our constitution, that you want to protect your home, and you want to protect South Africa's economy. Let your voice be heard.